callers indicating she thinks there's someone shooting in the building.
Frightening headlines across America. 2 high school shootings in one day.
A high school sophomore being attacked by a junior cheerleader.
County 911. Oh my God, my friend has been shot.
Okay, what was he shot with?
A shotgun.
How old is he?
He's 16.
A funeral is being held this morning in Florida for Rebecca Sedgwick. The 6th grader committed suicide last week. Authorities say she suffered nearly a year of cyberbullying.
They say he attacked another 14-year-old on Thursday as he was walking home from school.
A high school football favorite opens fire in a cafeteria, killing one and injuring others.
Supposedly he tweeted about it last night. No one took him serious. I think he said that he was going to bring a gun to school, and I think everyone just kind of blew it off like he was joking.
Minutes before firing his gun into a crowded cafeteria, he sent family members a text message.
The latest crime involves Apex High, where a student is accused of tweeting a threat to shoot up the school.
Even though our schools are among the safest places in our community, they are not immune to violence. We have all seen on the news and perhaps even here at North Penn that there are events and everyday personal attacks that impact the well-being of those around us. But here's the good news. You can make a difference. Individuals often say or do something long before they carry out an act of violence. By recognizing the warning signs and signals, taking them seriously, and knowing how to say something, you can help protect yourself, your classmates, and your community. Today, we want to tell you about a tool in Pennsylvania called Safe2Say Something that all of you can use to do just that. The Safe2Say Something program isn't just about preventing violence. It can also be used to help someone that is being bullied, harassed, the victim of harassment, or involved in illegal activity. No matter how they are discovered, signs, signals, and threats of harmful behavior must be reported, and we need your help.
Much of the time, we see warning signs, signals, and threats on social media, but you might also see or hear them in class, in the hallway, or cafeteria. As a student, you are in a unique position because you see things that adults might not. So it is important to know what to look for. Warning signs are thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that are a change from normal and indicate that a person might need help. Things such as a noticeable withdrawal from others, excessive anger, thoughts of self-harm, or significant personality changes are all examples of signs that could be an indication of something serious.
Warning signals, not to be confused with warning signs, are statements, gestures, or actions that tell us something. Sometimes they are obvious, sometimes not. Often people say things in person or online before harming themselves or someone else. You might overhear something, see a post on Instagram or Snapchat, or receive a text. Remember that these examples might not be exact, but you can use them as a guide. Also, realize that people may look, act, or enjoy different things from you, and that's okay. It doesn't necessarily mean they're giving off warning signs. It's not about who someone is, but rather what they do.
When you see or hear or see a sign, signal, or threat, it's important that you take it seriously and act immediately. All too often, people either wait or do not act at all, and their consequences can be tragic. We hear things like these are the reasons why people don't take signs or signals seriously, but we simply can't take a chance that what is seen or heard isn't true. You might feel uncomfortable or unsure, but if you say something to a trusted adult, they can handle the situation. Sometimes the fear is that if you tell someone, you'll be labeled as a traitor or a rat or a snitch or something worse. Maybe you're worried you'll be alienated or even physically hurt. But understand that there is a difference between telling on someone and saying something. If you tell on someone, you want to get them in trouble. But if you say something, it means you want to help them. We want you to be an upstander, not a bystander. By acting immediately, you can get someone the help that they need and maybe even save their life. If you don't act, you risk losing a friend or a classmate. People who show these signs or signals want to be helped. Sometimes they just don't understand or know how to get it.
Safe to Say Something works in 3 easy steps. First, you will submit your tip using the mobile app, Safe2Say website at safe2saypa.org, or the 24/7 Crisis Center hotline at 844-SAF-2-SAY. You will be able to give a description of your concern, the school, the people involved, and even attach related pictures or videos. Once you submit a tip, it is received by a crisis analyst 24/7, 365, who immediately reviews the tip to ensure there is enough information to act upon. The analyst may reach out to you using the anonymous two-way dialogue feature on the app or website. If you're on the phone, they may ask you questions. Calls are not recorded, and dialogue is anonymous. Next, the analyst forwards the tips to trained school officials. All of this can take seconds or minutes, depending on how much information you provide, so remember to gather as much information as possible. So I'm going to show you how to download the app from the App Store or the Google Play Store. You're going to go and you will search for Safe2Say PA. This is a little bit about what it looks like. When you download it, you will get a passcode that is specific just to you that you will put in there and use that so only you can submit tips on your own behalf. Once you enter your passcode, it will bring up the main menu where you can do a number of things with the app. You can submit a tip directly from here, either for North Penn High School or a different school. It gives you a number of options to select from. You simply input the information that you feel is pertinent to the situation that you feel needs to be reported, and then you would hit submit on the app to submit that tip. If there's a pressing issue or an emergency that you feel you would rather call, there is an option to call directly from the app, and we'll link you directly to that number to call and talk with someone in person rather than just submitting through the app. Also, if there is a full-on emergency, you can link directly to a 911 call from the app. For any more information about how to download or use the app, go to safe2saypa.org.
The third and final step involves officials here at school and, if needed, the local police working together to assess, intervene, and take action. Tips where someone's life might be in immediate danger are sent to the school and police 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Other non-life safety tips are sent only to school officials between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. daily. Once a tip has been reviewed and acted upon, we close it and report the outcome so that we can track how the program is helping all of us protect our school. Recognize that the privilege of anonymity is intended to give you the peace of mind to submit a tip. When calling 911 or speaking to a trusted adult, remaining anonymous is not an option. However, if you purposely abuse this system or break the law, you may lose that privilege and could face prosecution. So please value the purpose of this program and use it to submit tips that will protect you and your classmates from violence, suicide, threats, and victimization. The students in the North Penn School District are amazing individuals, and we have full confidence that you will understand the importance of this resource and use it appropriately.
So let's recap the 3 steps to keep you, your friends, and our schools safe. Recognize and look for warning signs, signals, and threats. When you see them, take it seriously and act immediately. Say something to a trusted adult or submit an anonymous tip using the Safe2Say Something system. All of you are in a unique position. You are the eyes and ears of your school. You are connected in ways that adults aren't, which allows you to hear and see things that we don't. Each day you interact with your peers on social media that most school officials, parents, and caretakers are not on. To protect one another, we rely on you to see and report those signs, signals, and threats. Remember, you can make a difference in someone's life.
Like the text messages I had were pretty serious, but like they became really, really serious after Parkland too. Before I even like said anything to anyone, I was like, let me think, like what if I turn on the news one day and I see his face and that he killed like 10, 20 people? Like that would be way more guilt I would live with the rest of my life than I would betraying a friendship. I'm so thankful like that Vermont didn't have to go through that. He said that he wanted to come back to Vermont and he hated school in Maine, so he didn't give a anymore. And I said, why? I know you had such a great future. Come on, Jack. And he said, I haven't wanted a culinary future for months anyways. Back in Vermont, I'm trying to start fresh. Just a few days ago, I was still plotting on shooting up my old high school. So it's not like I really wanted a future anyways. I was really taken aback by that. And this was all on February 13th. So then February 14th was the day of Parkland. So I just texted him and I said, do you see this on the news? And he said, do I see what on the news? I typically don't watch it. And I said, me either, but my friend's school just got shot up. And he said, that's fantastic, 100% support it. And I told him that you cannot say that. It's not good, Jack, people died. And then he responded, you can say that, but I think the human population sucks. So I like to hear about cases of natural selection. I wish humans would go extinct. Like, I don't care. And I was really confused and like really upset because he seemed really serious. And that's really the point in the text where like I knew that I had to just show these messages and hand my phone over.
Walking through some of the details leading up to where we are today. On Wednesday, the 14th of February, the Fairhaven Police Department received a report of someone who may have been making threats to do harm at the Fairhaven High School.
I received, I think it was an email that came through my phone. It may have been a text, I'm not sure, but it was, hey, did you know that Jack is back in town and that he bought a gun? And so the next morning, I distinctly remember walking into the classes and everything and then coming back down the hallway and saw kind of a ghostly look on my director of school counseling saying, you got to get in here. And that's when I had heard and was first alerted to the young lady in Poughkeepsie.
We received a call from the Dutchess County Sheriff's Department in New York who had been contacted by a female student who reported receiving messages over Facebook from an individual plotting to shoot up Fairhaven High School.
And then all of a sudden, the story and the feelings all kind of changed. Like, holy smokes, like this is real. Jack was great to talk to one-on-one. It was just, it was great. It's very, very smart, thoughtful. The year before he left, there were some things that had caused some people to contact me or teachers that were alarming or had upset some people. You know, a lot of times as administrator, we're privy to knowledge that not everybody else knows. So you understand things on a different level than everybody else. It was clear to me that Jack needed something else that we couldn't provide him here. In some ways, when I look back at what has happened, it's clear to me that, well, he didn't come out and say, hey, are you guys paying attention because I need some help? He did that in so many different ways, you know.
He's being held without bail. The charges on the affidavit are attempted aggravated murder, attempted first-degree murder, and attempted aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
From a law enforcement perspective, you have to build a case. You know, it's all based on evidence, and we can't just go around without probable cause and detain people. The issue becomes, what laws do you have on the books that when folks make these threats and there's a level of credibility and they have developed plans and made lists and gathered resources and equipment and gone out and trained to do this, well then what are we going to do about that?
No piece of information is too small. If you feel it could potentially keep a violent act from taking place, we must share these concerns with school safety partners in our efforts to keep these tragedies from happening in the future.
And there was no closure, and there still isn't. Time helps, but certainly it's always there. Personally, I had a whole school and community to start thinking about, and I felt sad for Jack. That's what I felt. I think I was conflicted at both being mad and angry and sad, but somebody wanting to harm other people is, and then planning it out to that extent was it's pretty hard to take. That was hard to take, yeah.
How do we stop the next one? We keep reinforcing the fact that somebody heard something that if they had brought that to the attention of others, maybe they could have been stopped. But everybody needs to pay attention to this stuff.
I don't know if he knows this, but he put a whole lot on me, to have to make that decision. And I hope that the person I knew in Maine when I was living in the same school and center as him, I hope that person was who he was, and I hope that I believe that he wants to go back to that. I don't know, I just want him to be helped, and I hope that he just gets the help he needs, to put it simply.